All right, here we are, and we're live. Good. This is Jay Skinner, and you are on the pre-show for the Buyers and Sellers Show. I just play a song and relax here while everybody gets on board. The Buyers and Sellers Show live every Friday morning at 10:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time in the United States. And we're broadcasting live all around the world on a couple of Facebook channels, Twitter, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Skinner, and this is the Buyers and Sellers Show. Glad you're here. This is the pre-show. I give everybody a second to get on board. We're going to talk about the new product development program. And do you want to have an old boat anchor or a shiny new boat? Hey, and we're live. Hi, everyone. I'm Jay Skinner, and I hope this is your first time, but if it's your second time, or guess what? I think this is show number 50 for me, 50 consecutive weeks of the Buyers and Sellers Show online. I'm so happy you're here. And the idea here is that we're all buyers and sellers. A lot of sellers out there probably think of themselves as just a seller, and a lot of buyers out there do the same thing. But just think about it. If you're part of a company and you're buying stuff for that company, it eventually is going to sell. So you're really part of the selling program as well. And if you're like I've always done with companies that I'm in, I tell everybody they're all in sales. And so I think the sales kind of the things that you're going to hear on this show will be interesting to you. Now, for you sales guys, there's a lot of selling people out there. And I don't need to do a lot of selling teaching because there's lots of teaching to be had. However, the PDT, the Process, Product, Profit, People Development Team Method, which is PDT Associates, my company, I'm out here trying to help people be successful. And so I'll point you in directions and I'll give you some ideas, and I hope that you can use them to be more successful. And already we have some people on board, and that's pretty cool. Let's see what we've got here. Scott Ricard, good morning. Glad you're here. Yes, sir. You have a fantastic day too. Hello, Sharon Skinner Hoffmeister. You're my niece. I'm so proud of you. How many days has it been consecutively that you've gone live? Sharon's got us all beat that she's been going live. So be sure and type that in. We'd like to know. Hey, Kevin Fitzgerald. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Thank you. And Charles Coachman. Good morning. Blessings and cheers to you. And God bless the people that are watching. Oh my gosh, everybody that's watching. I know I have lots of people watching, many of whom don't comment in. But I want to encourage all of you to post comments. And I'm just going to do my website right here. I've got a number of them, but thejskinner.com will get you on board with all my information and that you might want to see. So I'll type that into the comments section here, and that should pop where you are, whatever platform you're on, and that'll help you know what box to type in, which is good too. And let's see, Sharon says she will be, this is going to be number 830 today. Can you imagine going live 830 times a day? Like, I mean, 830 times consecutively, every single day, weekends, holidays. Sharon's done it. So I'm real proud of you. And I just want you to know that you can go to thesharonhoffmeister.com, Sharonhoffmeister.com, if you want to see her business or look her up on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever you want to go. She broadcasts on her Facebook. And let's see, I got a LinkedIn user here that says good morning and thank you. I don't know who you are. I wish I did. I don't know why your name's not showing up here under LinkedIn. But let me encourage you. Thank you. Come back and tell me who you are, where you're from, because I can't see who you are. But thank you for being here. So the topic today was something that's very interesting to people all the way around. And it's like I talked about, boat anchors and that sort of thing. Well, I'm going to explain something to you. The title is "Want a Boat Anchor or Sell and Develop?" What's the new product development, the PDT way of doing things, and it controls risk. It helps you do new products and develop new proprietary products that are in your wheelhouse, but try to minimize or limit or totally eliminate the risk that's often associated with taking a speculative approach to things. So that's where we're going. While I'm here, let's see a couple more comments. Let's see. Sharon, yes, wow, Sharon, it is amazing. Absolutely. And oh, hey, Ben. Oh my gosh, Ben Stoller, so proud to have you here today. Thank you for coming. Um, Ben is a good friend, and he's the head of a big international company. And I'm going to give you an advertisement, Ben. Paxil, and one of the great innovative plastic pallet companies in the world today. And I'm so proud to have you here, Ben. Thanks for coming by. Uh, this is great. So let's go back to the banners. We're going to get right into this. We talked about what's a boat anchor, and you know what? This should make you chuckle right here. There's a boat anchor. Um, the, um, the funny thing about these is in the plastics business, when someone speculates on a mold and um, it doesn't go well, it doesn't sell, and it ends up sitting in the thing, and no one does anything because they've speculated on some big mold and it just doesn't work out. Us plastic guys will call it, I got a boat anchor. Well, in my life of product development, I'll tell you what, I don't have very many boat anchors. If I was to think back, maybe I got one or two. And that was, there was intent there. And um, I'm going to talk about when you speculate. There's times to speculate, even risking having a boat anchor, but it may be a strategic decision that you make. So here we go. Let's just keep going here. Um, we talked about, are you one that gets excited about the idea of spending tons of time and money speculating about a new product, better mousetrap, only to find out no one wants to buy it? It's got to be disappointing when that happens. And like I said, maybe I got one. I don't know. But most of the time, I just simply have not experienced that because I'm more conservative. Now, I got some guys listening that invest a lot of time and money in great ideas, and they go out with what we call a have product will sell type of a program. And it's like, hey, if that works and you got the money and you got the time, go for it. Because I see some stuff out there. I'll get emails on new, interesting, cool products. These people spent a lot of money to come up with this. I sure hope they've got some customers. Um, but there are controlled ways to speculate. Um, and when I talk about my boat anchors, even my boat anchors, which I probably have 2 in 30 years, um, they were controlled, and what it amounted to, and I'll talk about this later, but there was a strategy to that, which meant I was filling out a product line, and in order to maintain my dominance in the target market, I wanted to make sure I had one particular type of product covered so that that target market would only be thinking about coming to me for whatever they needed. And I wouldn't either be telling them, no, I don't have that and I never will, or I wouldn't be telling them to go somewhere else. So as you're developing a product line for a particular target industry or market, there are times when you might develop a product and the mold might become then the tooling and engineering might become a dinosaur or a boat anchor, but it keeps you with all your wagons surrounding the people that you love the most, which are your customers in that market. So going on, it's like when you add, and I mentioned this, add to a product line, you want to continue that perceived dominance in your target market. And so there could be a strategic reason for doing an investment in something that people don't currently show enough interest in, or I mean, there were some products that, well, you'll see how I suggest going after these products, but sometimes you'll do it and it's like, I don't know how many I'm going to sell, but it's takes care of my market. So the PDT way, and this is all together on this one page, and then I'm going to break it down and comment on each one. But number one is we find the demand or a demand or need within the group or the area where we are used to working and we're comfortable in, and is within our wheelhouse. Number two, we price the parts as parts only. And, it's like, you'll see a little bit later on how that works. We get a purchase order and good faith deposit from one of the top customers, companies in that particular field or industry. And at the same time as we're approaching this, it's important to know that we're going to go after something that has other big customers that might possibly buy this. And then finally, this is the most important: deliver what you promised to deliver. And we're going to talk about these points and run right through them. It's going to be great. Look, we've got some more comments. I really appreciate people coming in here. Let's see. Greg Sneed, sounds like you were lucky enough to not have to cut away an anchor. Really, I was, but I made my own luck, Greg. That's the point of this conversation here. For people that don't have the time or money or inclination to spend that on speculation, I'm showing them a way to attack things so that when they do enter into a new product development and making those investments, that they're virtually guaranteed to work and go and grow. So that's the point of the PDT way. So let's start with number one: find the demand or need. Now, I'm going to assume a few things. First of all, I'm going to assume that you've got some ongoing business and some know-how in some particular industries or target markets or types of things that you do. In my world, it's always been plastic pallets for the last 30 years. That's been my big product development area. And Ben knows about that. And I've known him and his company since they started up. And they're a big, cool company. Thanks for being there. And I love being friends with him and having been friends with him over these years. But the trick is that within your customer base and within the markets and industries that you serve, keep your eyes and ears open for something that they could really use, or ask questions to say, well, what if I had a product that did this or did that? Is that something you would buy? Oh yeah, I really would. Okay, good. So that's the first big data point, something that you think you could do, where you could meet a need within your industry and that people would generally want to buy. Now, I'm not going to spend time and money on that in engineering. I'm not going to do a bunch of engineering. I might have my design engineer draw up a concept real quick, 3D isometric. Here's what it is. But you can do it off the back of a napkin too, because really what you want to do is just poll some people within that industry and say, if we had something that did this or did that, would that be interesting to you? And then at the same time, the next thing is price as parts only. Price these things when people say, well, I don't know, how much would it cost? What would it be worth? What would it save me? How would that work? You say, well, we would be investing. We would be doing this as investors, and we would own the intellectual property and tooling, but you as a prospect would have the opportunity to have a lot of input into this process. I see some comments here and I don't want to miss them, because I really think there may be some people come along here and be able to show me something. uh, there we go, Greg. Yep, we're showing how to don't cut away an anchor. You're right about that. uh, Hey, you, Greg, I love your humor. We always have fun. Got to have fun with our customers, with one another. Congrats on a palatable business for 30 years. You're welcome. Thank you. And we're only promised this moment. You bet. That's what we are only promised in terms of life. Uh, what I can say is that when I make a promise to my customers or potential customers, or we do an agreement, which I'll talk about a little bit later, I stick to stuff I know I can do. And if we're talking about something, or we're making business agreements about something, or when we're talking about a product and there's some question marks revolving around whether or not we can fully accomplish what we talk about, I draw my customer into the conversation and we all understand, okay, there are some risks here. There are certain elements of this that might not be able to work. What do you think about that? Is that a killer? Is that a deal killer? Um, I've even gone so far when we get into product development, uh, or always do it. It's not like the exception, but we will spell out the things that we learned in the development process that we have question marks about, and make sure whoever the customer is understands, that this particular area, this area may or may not work out. Is that okay with you? And we decide how we'll handle it, if that's figured, how we would do that in there. Sometimes it becomes a deal killer. You never know. Okay, there we go. And you've got the world behind you. That's right. Okay. So what did we say? We price as parts only. You own the intellectual property as the seller, and you work with someone. And then number three is you get a purchase order and a good faith deposit from your top customer in that target industry. Very transparent and partnership oriented conversations with the people that say, yeah, I'd buy some of those. I'll say, okay, great. Can I say, well, then I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. Will you join me? And they say, yeah, okay. So it's time for a proposal. And we do a formal proposal, and we take them through my Pdt system, my step-by-step approach to product development, which if you go to my website, you can go to pdtassociates.com, go down to the bottom, or look at the tab. It explains the 7 steps for doing and establishing a deal with someone that eliminates a lot of problems and misunderstandings. But if you do these deals based upon a handshake and they say, well, you make it, you deliver it, if we like it, we'll buy some. It's like, hey, if you want to speculate like that and you've got the time and money to do it, great, have at it if you want to. My suggestion is that everybody needs to have some skin in the game. And at the same time, if there's speculation as it relates to the performance of what you're proposing, whatever the product is, then you draw that into the conversation and prepare in your agreement what we're going to do if this thing doesn't fail. And I will tell you, over the last 30 years, I'm going to say without exception, when we were doing a new product development with a target market customer where we're doing the investing, and I was asking them to get involved in a process and progress payments as part of it, if we failed to perform, they would get their money back. I never had to give anyone their money back. Never. But the promise was there and it was understood. And oftentimes it was just exactly there in writing as part of it, that if we could not make it do the list of things that we agreed to at the time of drawing approval, then it's our problem, not theirs. Because I don't expect my customer to be, in the case of pallets, a pallet expert. They don't care about the details of it. What they want to know is, does it meet my needs, and what is the list of things I can expect your product to do? And I don't care if you're selling electric toothbrushes or machines to do this or that or whatever they are. Just agree not only on form, but function, because your customer is only interested in function. And if he could do those functions without you and without your product, he would and he should. So understand that function is the most important agreement that you have to make with your customers, and you put some brackets around it so people understand. And that's this: deliver what you agreed to. Got to keep your promises. And then I will tell you that when I'm in the process of doing the new product development, you'll hear many times when someone comes back to me and says, well, what about this? What about that? And the bottom line is, after we've done an agreement, we have purchase orders in place for this, the next thing out of my mouth, and I recommend you do the same thing, is, well, let's take a look at the agreement. If you wing it by memory after you've given them a multi-page, two-page, three-page agreement with concept drawings and how we're going to pay and how we're going to proceed and how we're going to do this and how we're going to do that using what I call the Pdt system, you're going to end up making new commitments that aren't even part of the agreement. And it's okay to do that, but make sure you're doing it knowingly. Many times you just say, well, here's what we agreed. If we want to change it, then it's going to cost more money, or it's going to be a different program. Make sure your salespeople and your design engineers and whoever's involved in implementing and designing and making this new project work, make sure that they don't wing it when the customer walks into the plant while they're investigating things and says, hey, can you do this? Well, let's see. I think we could. Let's take a look at the agreement, see what's covered. And then if they say, yeah, we can do it, but it's not in the agreement, therefore it'd just be an addendum, let me let you know how much it would cost to get that done. Being that direct is a relief to customers, rather than someone saying, oh yeah, we could do this, we could do that. And then all of a sudden you are, like arguing over commitments that were made outside of the agreement. Don't let that happen. Yeah. So here's some big, great things that happen as a result of doing this step-by-step methodology, or the Pdt way, towards doing new product development. Number one, the buyer gets a custom designed product without any added development cost, engineering, or tooling. How cool is that? So if the customer is a customer that needs a certain bag or packaging developed, or a box, or who knows what, and it's going to do this and do that, and got a pallet and got this or that, or it's a machine with robotics and things like that, that really, that if you develop this and figure it out, you can take this thing as it's developed and sell it to a dozen other companies just like them. But the guy that makes the commitment with you to do this, he gets a custom designed product to work in his plant. Now, the other reason that you want to pick a potential buyer from the list of the big guys, because they're more likely to have the greatest number of needs and a more universal type approach to doing their projects and their product, and how you develop your product so that you develop it in a way that will work with others. And at the same time as you're doing the development, touch base with other companies as well, just to make sure what you're putting together is going to work for them. And you may want to add some other features that maybe the main customer doesn't need, but will be good, because remember, you own the tooling, you own the intellectual property. This is your new proprietary product that needs to work in that target market, in that industry. establish market pricing. This is another great why for doing it this way. Because now all of a sudden, whatever the part is, you're not saying, well, it'll cost you X number of dollars plus tooling, plus design, plus. And at the end, they don't really know how much this thing costs. And then when they get ready to buy the second one, they're going to think they're going to get a huge discount because they invested in all this other stuff. Say, tell you what, we're going to invest in the tooling, the design, all that kind of stuff. And here's the price for this. And you make sure it's priced in a way that's an excellent product for a fair price. And then when they want to buy the next one, it's the same price. There's no discussion about reduction because you made the first one and now you've somehow, going to charge less. At the same time, when their neighbor or their competitor or somebody else wants to buy some of the same thing, everybody's getting the same price. In fact, what I found oftentimes is the first person gets the best price straight out of the box. And then after you've made it and you've done it and you design it, you say, I think the price is going to have to go up a little bit because there were some things occurring in the course of this fulfillment of this order that I didn't count on as the manufacturer. And I got to make some adjustments and the market pricing needs to go up or down or whatever it needs to do. But generally, the first order gets the best price. So you can really go a long way in establishing market pricing here with this. Now, as a seller, you just make sure that this market pricing on your first big order covers your tooling, engineering, and development costs with that first order or close to it. You're investing, it's yours. Or, like you're not charging extra for it, but I tell you, I found that generally speaking, you can break even on the first big order and you have everything you need in order to satisfy the market the rest of the time. And you based upon a good market price. So think about that. At the end, I'm going to read this. The product is proven and accepted as viable and buyable before you ever make a part by virtue of identifying a need in your target market that has multiple potential buyers and you get an order with money. See, some people are a little squeamish about taking orders for new products with money, but that is one of the best ways to prove a concept. If you've got a great idea, but no one is willing to give you any purchase order and commitment and good faith deposit to go along with it and a plan that you've established together with that buyer, well, what's to say after you invest thousands, tens of thousands, or maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, or in some cases, millions, that they're going to ever buy any? It's like they just want to try one and see. That's scary to me. That is scary to me. Greg, thank you. See you. Happy Friday. Glad you came. So the PDT way to new product development is control your risk, protect your customers at the same time, buyers and sellers. I always sit on the same side of the table with my customers and with my vendors. And if they come walking in and they're sitting on the other side of the table, I'll probably move. So at least we're sitting side by side, just at the corner physically. And if it just doesn't make sense, we're across from the table. The attitude has got to be, we're on the same side of the table. And I'm trusting that vendor or that customer to be honest with me, to be truthful, to work with me to get a job done. I throw cynicism out the window. It's got to be a both win situation in order for it to be a good deal. And I know from life experience in a lot of areas that you can have those. And I also know that if you're sitting down with someone and it's just not feeling comfortable on either side, you bring up hard questions to try to understand what it is. And if you still walk away from it and you don't have the trust that is required to have a good deal, then walk away from it. Just walk away from it. Trust is so important. So I bet some of you may have some comments or thoughts about this. I'm down to the end of my time. I got a couple more minutes, and what I want to be sure, I would love to hear any comments that you might have about what I just showed you. Or if you have a question, I will be happy to address it. But think about this. We go from the old boat anchor that you could have by a highly speculative product development to this. What do you think about that? Now, is this that new product, that beautiful new boat? And in the background, is that a sunrise or a sunset? I don't know. I think it's a sunrise. I hope you're having a sunrise experience here. What I try to do is I catch all the comments. I'm so glad for the participation today and the folks that got on. Thank you so much. You know, I have a pioneer in the plastics business on board with us, and Ben Stoller. Thank you very much, Ben, for coming by. If anybody has any additional comments, go ahead and hit now. As I wrap up, a lot of times I don't get to see them. If I see additional comments as we close here, I'll be sure and answer them back to you personally. But I'm Jay Skinner. This is the Buyers and Sellers Show. Got the coffee cup to prove it. And I'm so happy that you came. We had a lot of fun. And let's just end with something fun right here on the keyboard. Get something going. Do you recognize this? Woo! Roll out the barrel. We'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel. Wow! We've got the blues on the run. Roll out the barrel. I hope you're having a great day. Go make it a great day. Think about what you're going to do next week to make it even better. And give me a call if you want to. I'd love to talk to you. Always glad to have you here. I'm Jay Skinner, and this is the Buyers and Sellers Show. Bye now.